Mm, mm, mm. Welcome to the Black Men Experiences channel. I am your host, CP. In today's topic, this black man, a black male officer, this one, bad one, molested men he had in his custody in his car. The beyond lack of coverage of this, especially when it's males, or better yet, when it's black males that are the victims, regardless. So when I sit there and saw this particular topic, I was like, huh? You see, you was like this when you saw this topic? Yeah, I was like, huh? And by the way, today is August the 24th, 2026. See, in this particular system, which is a very wicked system, it's a very brilliant system. In this particular topic, it will allow bad, alphanistic black male bad ones to be allowed to go inside these particular areas. And they will try to make sure to vex out the small number of decent black officerness in that, right? They'll say, hold on now, you can't be sitting there putting that black man in the chokehold, like Eric Garner. You can't be doing that like, Fernando Castillo. You can't be doing stuff like they did with Sandra Bland, Etienne Jeffers, right? Ahmaud Arbery. Now, again, I'm specifically talking about Black Americans, but again, right? I mean, the list goes on, right? Tamir Rice. You get the point, right? Freddie Gray. And of course, the giganticness of George Floyd. See, this system knows that it's not enough true black male offernisticness that's going to get into these areas. And there is a gigantic need for more black male officers to get in these positions. We don't need wrong. Why do you think freaking numbers of other cultures will make sure they put numbers of their males and females in these positions to look out for their cultures and backgrounds, ethnicities, alternative lifestyle categories? Only a fool refuse to see reality. Only a fool fails to realize this reality. And by the way, this is not about talking about numbers of gullible type black males or naive ones, right? That refuse to see this reality going on in society against black males, right? And will not push back. So in this particular topic, before I get into, see, the sad part about it is that there are certain numbers of bassy versions of certain black male officers, the bad ones. They think they're one of the main personnel. And this is how they look at them regardless too.
Rights. You can't do this to me. Hey boy, I can't do this to you when I have been doing it to everybody that looks like you, and my foreparents before me been doing it to everybody that looks like you, like forever in recorded history, and you bang, 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 bang. Okay, now what do you say about what I can't do to you, boy? Huh? Can you speak? Hey, you're lying here on this highway. Speak up, boy. Hey, can't you tell me all about how you did, who you could whip in the cell block? All right, where you spent most of your time before you got in my face? Tell me all about it, boy. With them 15 bullets I just put in you. Tell me all about how you built the pyramid.
Ooh-wee. See, this is why also you have quite a number of black male officers that have been shown racial racism, black male, even in uniform, because it's systems like, boy, we don't care about you, boy. What part you understand? Do you not realize in the military less than 100 years ago we had formal segregation, boy? before many of these other various cultures, ethnicities didn't even existed in America, boy, that they sit there utilizing you stupid Negroes anyway. You understand? So the thing about it is, just saying someone is a black male doesn't mean jack. Again, there's naive and gullible ones, right? Being a black male is more than just showcasing or looking at it as a generic black male category. It goes beyond that. That's a starting point, but it goes beyond that. So let's go ahead and share my screen on this part. This is disgusting. Because how many times there are certain numbers, again, bad seed versus even black male officers, the ones applies to, not talking about some of the ones that are like, hey, they're not like this overallness, right? Because they understand black male lives do matter, right? And they say, wait a minute, first and foremost, you're not an officer first. You are a black male first, and you act accordingly. So let's go ahead and, again, share my screen as you see here. I'm utilizing this under time, peace, purpose, and fair usage doctrine.
A former North County police officer pleaded guilty to sexually abusing handcuffed men. This as he was approaching his federal trial.
Marcellus Blackwell was an officer for about a year during the time he admits to abusing men in his custody. Fox Files investigating men in his custody. Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes is tracking this case and has been since it broke 3 years ago. And he joins us now with more details. Chris.
Shirley, Mandy, it seemed to take forever in court as prosecutors read through accounts of 18 men in handcuffs. 18 men in handcuffs of 18 men in handcuffs through accounts of 18 men in handcuffs being sexually abused by a former North County Police cooperative officer. 36-year-old Marcellus Blackwell pleaded guilty to 18 counts involving kidnapping and depriving victims of their rights. It turns out he was doing this during a time we interviewed him for an unrelated report about officer recruiting. This was for an unrelated report about officer recruiting. This was doing this during a time we interviewed him for an unrelated report about officer recruiting. This was in 2023, shortly before he was accused of molesting men in his custody. A prosecutor.
And by the way, what they made sure not to talk about is, remember St. Louis? That's going to be primarily what? Black. And who do you think his primary personnel that he was molesting, those men? They would be black males. Because remember, in this society, overall, black male lives don't matter. You understand? So they know it's not enough black males to push back. Now, I'm glad to see a few more black males starting to say, hold on now, all this nonsense and not all black males use the N-word, so we're not going to sit there and allow these other cultures to be saying, ning, 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 ning. Oh, no, there's consequence to that. Well, I don't want to use it. How about you get these consequences? See, black males can't go to some other country, right? Passport this, right? And break immigration laws, right? They can't go over there and insulting different cultures and backgrounds. You understand? They'd be like, oh, you gonna know your place first because you still are a foreigner, no matter what. You understand? But at the same time, black males who know who they are looked upon as a type of prestigiousness because people understand the black males who know who they are. They like, wow, these black males are strong type people. Not talking about only physically. That's not the point. Physically, Dwayne's. But when you sit there and have a type of internal strength, oh, that's why black males are known throughout various parts of this globe on situations. You understand? And I ain't talking about negative way, by the way. Let's continue.
The prosecutor read through each accusation, saying Blackwell turned off his body cam each time and recorded his acts with his own cell phone. Blackwell acknowledged his guilt without saying anything else. U.S. Attorney Thomas Albus came out to speak after the hearing.
Sad day in a lot of ways, frankly disgusting conduct that you heard recounted to Judge Lanahan that Mr. Blackwell did accept responsibility for. We think of the victims today and they were in a particularly vulnerable situation.
Blackwell was coming up on his trial date, which would have meant those cell phone videos would be played to a jury. So it's not much of a surprise Blackwell took this plea. He's looking at a 30-year recommended prison sentence.
Well, Chris, how was all of this uncovered?
one of the victims, one of the last victims, pointed out that this was done to him and it was recorded. So the co-op worked with the FBI and found videos on his Google Drive.
Wow. So was he committing these crimes at the police station?
In his car, and part of the charges that he pleaded guilty to, kidnapping. And it came out that he took one of his victims to Normandy High School bus lot to do this.
Wow.
In his
That's
car.
interesting. Yeah.
It is shocking. All right.
Chris
Thank you.
Hayes, thank you.
Mm. 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 What was that again? That was beyond an embarrassment. See, this system, again, likes for more black males to become emasculated. Or they like for them to become, should I say, demasculated. Do you understand? And they are allowing to put numbers of bad C in these type of officeristic positions because they know most would not sit there and have strong masculinity. You understand? You can have all the muscles you want. You can be the fastest of fastest. And a supremacist minded bad version of some person within certain parts of Panama's culture, a bad officer version, and some other ones who want to be like one of those, and other ones who want to slot under some generic person that within Panama's culture, generic category, and ones that slot under some generic wink wink minority nonsense category, right? That's taken out of context. You understand? See, the thing about it is so much hatred toward black males overall within Americanism, because black males are the only number one historical males who have fought back in the system. The number one who have fought against this system. While other people just show up later on and say, hey, we're here now. You understand? That's a whole different topic. But this was a disgustingality that anyway, on him, whatever justice becomes that, or however situation comes upon him, this is a bad one. Because again, this system, it hates black males. Or should I say, it hates strong black males. Something like that. This is why I look at it like, who's training these kind of people? Who's training them? It's almost certain agency in certain places that's allowing anything to come in. Well, that's right. See, that DEI, how about DEI go to Haiti? Oh, we ain't going to talk about certain numbers of other cultures and backgrounds that are just thrown inside of there. We're not going to play that game. And we sure ain't going to play the ones within certain parts of Panama's culture who still have a clan mentality and certain numbers of officerness in certain areas of it. We're not going to play that game. There was a study not long ago that was saying various types of agencies are infested with certain type of white supremacist thought powder in these uniforms and have a legality to be able to remove somebody's life. And then excuses are made so many times for that. So anyway, I thank you for tuning in to the Black Men Experiences channel.